This is the process shot. I'm Michael. I'm stuck in a haunted movie theater, and I've seen Babo 73, an absurdist political comedy satire from director Robert Downey Sr., made back in 1964. It follows the newly elected president of the United States, Sandy Studsbury, his left hand and right hand advisors, whose political beliefs lean in the appropriate directions, a private secretary whose loyalty to the job is matched by the nervous breakdown he's experiencing, and a whole other handful of characters that this cabinet meets over time. After some initial introductions, the film becomes more of a series of vignettes as Sandy and the others have to contend with one domestic issue after another. From religious leaders to the civil rights movement to international warfare, with all of this business conducted from either the White House, which looks a lot like an abandoned building, or a rather nice-looking beachside setup. Yeah, this movie almost defies description, mostly because of the lack of a real story and the focus on narrative anarchy, to put it one way. The film is pretty clearly a case of going out and shooting whatever comes to mind, and this film may as well be an epitome of that production style, with just about every scene being driven more around satirical elements and comedic timing over presenting a true through line, outside of the president and his advisors and a looming threat from red Siamese invaders. While these individual scenes are very entertaining, and in many cases the satire can still resonate, it might actually be a bit to the detriment of the film that it is so overloaded with such material. That is, it's all being delivered so quickly and without rest that the underlying satire doesn't have a chance to settle in, and the spastic and scriptless production methods don't really help with that either. I think it might also be that while the general targets and ideas being made fun of are still relevant in some way today, they're still presented and perceived with a contemporary early to mid-60s point of view, and so a few ideas may have been lost in translation over the following decades. Either way, the underlying comedy is still delightful, with the exaggerated character archetypes thriving in this nonsensical environment where the will of the people gives way to personal gain. Again, the film's production methods and design are based almost entirely around pure anarchy and improvisation, and the technical aspects certainly reflect that. Every scene is shot without any care for a visual language, which in itself is a stylistic choice that reflects the spontaneity of the film's shoot and story events. One moment a scene is clearly set in Washington, D.C., and in the next it's in a random bathroom somewhere, and in the next it's a New York street corner, and so on. Camera angles are similarly designed around whatever looks best for dramatic or comedic effect, or whatever works best within whatever limited amount of space they have for filming. Editing is a bit more calculated, being a post-production process, being able to bring all of these disconnected scenes and sequences together in a relatively coherent manner. It's also helpful in a way that the film was clearly shot without any live audio and was dubbed after the fact, which hopefully helped refine the comedic lines that may not have worked out well initially. Whatever the case, it's all very much in line with this do-it-yourself style of filmmaking, the spirit of which would never leave the director as seen in his other films. As for this one, it's probably better to think of it as a product of its time, not only in its satirical content, but as a sort of first steps for Downey Sr. before he could really come into his own as a creative force. Babo 73, Robert Downey Sr., 1964. 2.5 stars. I'd recommend it more for the pure comedy elements than anything else in the film, honestly. That's it for this review. If you liked it, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Yeah, this is the kind of movie that's easier to watch for yourself than to listen to me describe. That's kind of how all movies work when you think about it.